Okay, so we are finally back with another A plus entry backtesting video. In today's video, we'll be testing it on FX replay using NQ on the 1 minute time frame. Now the criteria is here on the screen now. Directional bias will be based off the 4 hour time frame. Stage 1 is to find a sweep. Stage 2 is to mark out the closest bearish and bullish P rays. Simply put, these are fair value gaps and inversions that I use. Now I also have a continuation model. This is analyzing order flow. If the order flow is against the 4 hour time frame, this is a continuation model. If you have a question on what order flow is, I will go over it. It's just disrespecting or respecting gaps. Which way is it going? And is it in line with the 4 hour time frame? Now, a bonus into the bias is, do we have SMT and are we above the 8:30 and midnight opening prices? Again, don't really care too much about these right now, but times, this is important. We trade macro intervals only, which are the first and last 15 minutes of every single hour. But because we all trade different assets, a few of them are high probable depending on your pair. Entries, breaker blocks, volume imbalances, AMD plus BPR, and fair value gaps. I do also trade inversion fair value gaps if they have a volume imbalance as well. Targets, swing highs, equal highs, data highs, volume imbalances, and fair value gaps. Exits 1 to 2 when with the 4 hour time frame. Partials, kind of disregarding that for now. 1 to 1.5 when trading with the order flow. So 2 losses done for the day, 1 win, we are done for the day, and 2 small wins, we are done for the day, as if I'm taking partials. Recently, I've not been doing it. So here's the wheels and names. I like to shuffle without editing my videos so you guys can see how my thought process is in as close as possible to real life market conditions without fabricating the results here. So we go into 2025. Now we need to do the same with the months. So I don't want to be able to choose which month in my head. I want the wheel to tell me which month are we going to. I just realized we haven't even got that far. So we've got 8 months done this year. So 2025. Okay, that feels a little bit too recent. Let's get rid of August. You know what? We'll even get rid of 7 as well. So we'll do the last. We'll remove the last 2 months just to make sure it's fair, and I can't actually remember. Okay. So we're gonna go to May. May 2025. So FX replay. Here's the website. You can see I take loads of trades. Even whilst I've not been posting, we're still turning up and collecting data. I use multiple different systems here just to see and progress, and I isolate different factors so the results don't focus on the win rate, but the name YouTube backtest MNQ. Now I've actually traded MNQ and NQ, and I just prefer NQ. Not exactly sure why. Okay. So Thursday, the goal is to make 5%. As soon as I hit 5%, now why on earth is it saved with this? Let's go and load layout. There we go. So we've got NQ on the left-hand side, ES on the right-hand side. ES is S&P, NQ is NAS 100. These are both correlated, so we're analyzing to make sure that the correlation is there with the 4-hour strategy. So we're going to be risking $1,000. As soon as we hit 5K, we'll finish the video. So we're on May the 1st here. So this is off New York time. New York Open is at 9:30. Now the first macro that I do trade is 9:45 till 10:15. Now that's a 30-minute interval. It's the first one after New York Open at 9:30. This essentially means it's going to be nice and volatile, and it provides us entries. We buy or sell in these windows only, not a minute before or a minute later. We do not care about the price action outside this. I trade for an hour a day. I've been doing that for a long time recently. I used to trade the pre-market, and as I've been getting more busy with other ventures as well, I just make it simple. I prefer the price action once 9:30 opens. So the first thing you want to do, come to 9:45. And we need to go to the 4-hour time frame even before analyzing 1-minute order flow. On the 4-hour time frame, you're going to mark out the previous 4-hour high, previous 4-hour candles low. I like to label these as well. So on the 1-minute, it just looks like random lines. Okay, that's stage one. If we sweep the low, meaning price passes 19,904.25, that means that we can look to buy. We've swept the low. It's lower than this low. We've now traveled past it, clearing out buy sides or sell sides. Also, if we sweep the high, we want to sell. So if price travels past 20,023.50, that means we can now look to sell. Now, in this scenario, we've done both. We swept the high, we've swept the low. How can I decide which way to go? Well, all we need to do is analyze the most recent sweep. It does look like we swept the low more recently than sweeping the high. We'll validate this on the 1-minute, but I think we're bullish right now. Next thing I want to do is mark out the closest bearish and bullish PD rays, so fair value gaps and inversions. I can see we've got a bullish gap here, which aligns with our bullish thesis that we're going to continue higher. Now, I also want to make sure, though, yes, we can look to buy, but are we going to buy into a strong resistance that could be an inversion or a bearish fair value gap? So I'm looking to the left, trying to find the most recent. I can see this like a new week opening gap. Potentially, it could push price back down. But what we're going to look for is this inversion. So we closed beneath this bullish gap. That's now an inversion. We can use it as resistance now. So we've got a bit of room to look for buys, meaning that the first resistance will be at 20,023. So on the 1-minute, we know we're bullish, but what is the order flow telling us? So I just like to go to the 1-minute. I mark out the gaps that are being respected. I'm just trying to see, are we breaking above bearish gaps? If so, then this is starting to look really good. We're bullish on the 4-hour, the higher time frame. So the last bearish gap's being respected. This gap is also being respected. I like to do 2. If 2 get respected, order flow is bearish. We can see we inverse multiple bullish gaps on the way up. We've got a 13 EMA just to track the speeds. The midnight and the 8:30 prices are all above, so we're on a discount. I don't see anything I would trade just yet. Now you could potentially take this as a inversion. It's a singular gap. I don't really trade inversions with the 4-hour. I trade them against the 4-hour. So if this look like this but going down, we could take it because we've got a little volume imbalance between the two candles. But nothing I want to take. Okay. So we want to make sure we can displace above this short-term high. I trade fair value gaps. I like to pair them with breakers or mitigations. A breaker or mitigation is a failed order block. If you don't know what failed order block, go to ICT. There's the last up close candle. I know he can use the whole swing as well. For a bearish order block, you can take the candle and you can see prices tagged this level and dropped. So this is the extreme order block. We broke beneath it, validating it, and now we broke back above. This becomes a breaker because we swept previous sell sides. Now, for us to enter this, we need to make sure the ES is also displaced, which is not. Okay. So we've inversed 1. We have displaced above here now. Is there a gap on both? Yes. So we're rejecting London low. I'm not too convinced here, to be honest. I think I want to break this range or this low. Yeah, we're gonna wait. I like clean price action. So it did work short term. But I want to break the range here. So we're gonna fast forwards. We've now entered the end of the macro, so 10:15's hit. Your second interval will be 10:45 and 11:15. Make sure you write this down as well, because it's very important the time. So 10:42, 10:45. Let's replay one candle here. Okay. So we have a new candle. 10 a.m. is always going to be a new candle. Let's go to the 4-hour. Let's readjust. So the previous high is now here. Previous low here. We delivered from the bullish gap using it as support. On the 1 minute, so we're taking the high. We're bearish on the 4-hour. Order flow is bullish. I can see we're respecting all the blocks. We're respecting not that gap, but respecting this gap. Okay. I don't mind taking a buy position. Not yet, though. Okay, so we inversed again. Okay, we're using this as support. So I'm interested in selling, really. But if it wants to keep pushing higher, I'm going to take that as well. So I see we got a volume imbalance. 2 candles. Second one opens higher. That's bullish. Stop loss, we pick between 10 and 20 points. 10 points is too small, so we'll opt for 20. So we go risk-free at 0.9, targets 1.5. We're risking 1,000 to make 1.5. So now we've got the break even. It needs to wick us in. It hasn't entered us yet. Okay. That's a little bit too far, so we're going to delete that position. Doesn't make sense to keep it. We've inversed this gap here. Okay. Gonna try it again here. We tagged another bullish gap. Also, the mitigation here. This is the first volume imbalance after that. So we're going to try it. 20 points covers the gap range here. Yeah. Break even 0.9. This looks quite a big stop loss, but 10's too small. So it is what it is. Okay, it's not entered us again, but we do keep pushing higher here. So this is a pretty good demonstration of 1 minute order flow analyzing. The overall bias is bearish, but if it's telling us it wants to keep pushing higher, we can adapt to that. Okay. I'm going to move my entry to here now. We've opened higher again. Stop loss underneath the low. Going for a 1.5. Okay. So break even or 9. Targets a 1.5R. Okay. So we got tagged in on the retest. Look how we're using the 13. I've added that recently. I'm pretty sure it's Doyle FX. I watched one of his videos. He was talking about it, so I added it on to my chart, and it's really good for order flow readings, especially if you guys are starting and you're struggling to go against the 4-hour bias. Just see, are we trapped? Are we above the 13, and are we using it as support? Okay. So in this situation, we're gonna hold. Okay. So we're risk free. We got tagged in on the volume imbalance. That's 1.5%. Stop loss underneath the swing low. I chose 10. You could do 20. You could even do 15 if you want, but I think that's more than enough. So that was in the interval, 10:45 and 11:15. So we come back to the next day. We don't care about what happens outside our window. If I'm trying to pass a challenge, we can trade pre-market if there's red folder. So 8:45 and 9:15. Even if you guys it works better for you that time, you can trade this every single red folder. I simply just prefer waiting for the open on New York Stock Exchange. So 9:45, 2nd of May. So we're tagging that old bearish gap we marked from yesterday, or BPR actually, because here's the fair value gap and here's the old bullish gap. There's now an inversion. We've also swept the high. So we definitely favor being bearish. On the 1 minute, I'm just looking for order flow. What are we respecting and what are we disrespecting? Okay, so we're delivering from a bullish gap right now. We've inversed 1 bearish, 2 bearish. Just not seeing anything we can really take here. Maybe we sell. So we displaced lower. We broke beneath the short-term low. Okay, yeah, we're gonna sell this. So yeah, we're gonna sell this. We've displaced through a short-term low. That shows me some form of strength. We also have a gap that overlaps the down close candle, like I just showed you guys before. Order blocks are the last up close candle. The last down close candle is also a bullish order block. There can now be a mitigation. So it's red folder. My entry is going to be off the candle body. If it fills us, it fills us. Now, if we reject this before giving me my entry, we'll close. So place order. You can see it's both correlated. So we've got a gap here as well on yes. So 0.9. Okay. And just because you have your limit set, you need to be analyzing. We're just going to take the first presented gap after the displacement. Okay, that was amazing. So we tagged, dropped, going over the stop loss placement, because we're trading the 4-hour continuation, 20 points is the max stop loss we use. Realistically, we'd prefer above the most recent swing high. That's a little bit too much. We can also use 15 and 10. We don't have the option here. So we took the entry. 10 would be extremely small. Obviously, all of them worked, which is okay. But 20 is a good rule of thumb. If we can't get 20 past here, then you gotta settle for 20, at least bare minimum. If here you had your stop loss and it was 10 points, that's fine. You could choose 10 instead of having 20 all the way higher, but just use your own discretion here. So 3.85%. Okay, so 930, 940. I'm also looking for consolidation. I've got very, very extreme rules for consolidation, and I miss trades, which is fine. I'd rather peace of mind than catching everything. So I'm going to delete. We're going to start fresh. For our high. For our low. Bullish gap. Bearish is also right here. So again, this is a pretty good demonstration with the rules that we have. We use the 4-hour lows and highs first. We can see we swept the low. We are bullish, but we don't want to buy into a bearish fair value gap. So what's the range that we can look to buy? We've got 40 points. So if we get an entry in this region, we would at least be able to go risk-free by the time we hit that bearish resistance, right? This BPR, because we've got an inversion and a gap. So on the 1 minute, I'm also checking for consolidation. Candle body to wick high. Look to the left. Are we rejecting anything? No. We are rejecting the low here. I see no good entries. We've inversed 2 bearish gaps. So we do favor being bullish. Okay, now we've got a double top, double bottom. I want to see this break. Okay. So let's mark the candle body to the wick high, and then we look to the left. What are we rejecting? It should always be your question if you're going to take any position with real money. To this high. Okay. So normally we'd be taking this. We've displaced above the high, or this short-term high here for ES and NQ. We also have a gap overlapping both. I'm not going to take this. Okay. And it does work. But I wouldn't take this just because we rejected some key area here. Like I said to you guys, I miss a lot of positions because I've got very, very extreme rules that I follow. Now we've got a new 10 a.m. candle. So we're inside this bearish BPR. Also got data lows beneath us. Do we want to buy here? Gotta say, I'm gonna say no. Okay, good decision. Gonna say no. We've got data lows beneath us. Very strong draw for price. Now we've liquidated them. We can look to buy. We're inside that bullish gap again. So really, really difficult price action here. I'm going to try it though. Because we did sweep data lows. If this can tag me at the bottom, We'll take that. Don't really have a good target, so we'll go for some balance here. Risk-free. 0.9. Okay, that was a very quick loss. Did I check to the left? Okay, so we took out Asia highs again. I kind of rushed that. I was focused on data lows. That's not necessarily a terrible mistake, but we could have took that into consideration. Okay, does it now want to go up? Oh, we want to come back down. Very tight range here. It's tough. Yeah, we're gonna go to the next macro. So we keep delivering from the bullish gap to the bearish gap. I want it to just set a clear direction, and we can do something with this. So we're displacing higher. Okay, 11 a.m. Perhaps we want to reverse that down. I'm not too convinced on either way here. Yeah, we're gonna come back to the next day. So we took one loss. So far we've got 2.85%. We took one loss, 2 wins. Okay. 4-hour time frame. Inside bullish gap. Swept 4-hour low. 4-hour high intact. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely bullish on the day. What's the potential draw for sellers? We've got a low inside a gap, so I don't mind selling back down either. Don't mind selling back down. So order flow. Could we short here? Okay, so look to the left. Delivered from this gap here. Also swept the wick high. Or very close. So we've got a very good target for later. We didn't quite take the high. Well, that's a lot of relatively equal highs here. Okay, strong move down. Nothing for me. No, nothing for me. Now this we're gonna take. So this is an inversion. See, we broke beneath the gap here. Now, why am I gonna take that when we broke or we swept the black line? So normally when we take out an objective, this is like previous weekly New York low or Asia low. We don't know. So if I look to the left, we don't have an indicator. Okay, it's like Asia low here. Okay, we've swept the low once. What's the probability we're gonna just continue up higher with a huge V shape? It's not likely. Now, V shapes do happen, but we prefer price to retake the original low. That way we're going to have a nice mitigation or breaker block to then continue higher. I'm going to sell this down immediately because we're delivering from this bearish gap. Also underneath that 13, and just look at the speed here. I was trying to find something to sell down to here. I don't have it, but we do have this. 10 points is above the gap. 1.5 multiple. Risk-free at 0.9. Now, there's a learning curve for my system. It's not just understanding when we buy or sell. it's actually doing this live. Okay, really nice. So small wick back, we didn't quite retest. We took it because we've got two candles. We've got an inversion fair value gap, singular gap, volume imbalance on the inversion candle. Beautiful move. Target the low. We're gonna come back tomorrow, but I want to see, does it reverse higher? Yeah. So we normally take it out twice. That's a note for you guys. 4.35%. I took one loss, and we're gonna review that loss later. I'm not sure I'd take that in real time. I'm not saying my win rate's crazy good anyway. It's around 60, 62%, around that region actually. Where you see my initial, it said 58, but on a year-by-year basis, around 60, 63% to 67. Some months are 80, some months are 40. Okay. So let's delete some of this noise. We inversed here. And we're still respecting the inversion. Okay. So there's the closest bearish Peter Ray. The closest bullish is still the same. Look at how well we swept the low. And we swept the 4-hour low as well. So we are bullish. I'm interested in taking a long. Okay. I'm not interested in buying or selling here. I don't care how good it looks. Okay. So 10-11, new 4-hour candle. We don't really have true direction on this candle. So we're going to go to the next macro. So 10:45 till 11:50. Now this again is too choppy. I'm not trading inside this. Okay, that we can trade. Broke beneath the 13, delivered from the bearish gap. Look to the left, volume imbalance, and then we displace lower. Okay, 10:59. I'm gonna take this position. So we're delivering from a bearish gap. Two candles, second candle opened lower than the first. Not 0.9 break even. Okay. So we've got tagged. Stop loss 20 points versus 10. You can see I'm always measuring. I like 10 or 20. 10, it's just not above the wick. You can do it, but 20 made sense. A little bit of breathing room. Final target here. Okay. Well, that's it. We're at 5.85%. Let's go and look at the analytics now. This is something I do every single day. I do have a Telegram. I don't post in the Telegram, but I may start to if you guys want daily analysis videos. But here's the analytics: 80% win rate, 5 positions taken, not one break even, one lost, one won. Here, objectively, not the best loss either. Some of the wins, not the highest graded either, but whatever you guys want to see, if you want to see more of these backtesting videos, let me know. If you want some PowerPoints where I break down actual education style, then let me know that as well. But I'm going to try and keep posting. Summer's done here in Portugal, so going to get back on it. Going to try and build this channel and provide as much value as I can to you guys. So thank you for supporting. I'll be back again very soon.